as we continue with these, 48 hours to the full moon, right? We had our 111 portal. Today is a 112 portal. We have an episode up. That one, if you didn't tune on in and you might want to, there's also a short in case you don't want to spend 40 plus minutes. Blind faith souls who don't play God. We love and are unbreakable, unshakable, and unfoolable. Dash 5D Mystic. The short is you can't break, shake, or fool the unbreakable souls of those who don't play God and love in integrity, which is right here, your empowered feminine. And that's why empowered feminine, which is a man, woman, they, it's a person who's internally securely attached. We know that no one is divinely guided to anyone. That's another episode. So empowered feminine knows no one is divinely guided to you. True love requires integrity. Again, dash 5D Mystic, so in case you want to watch that one. And then I believe we have a 3-minute short, and I think it's Inner Self, Securely Attached Mystics, and Mindfully Living Peeps, Know Wholeness and True Love. So you can check that one out. And here we're going to talk about it in the extended version. And let me read to you. So again, this is for people here who do personal and or spiritual growth and or both mindfulness, mindset practices. I get to be the mystic who shares with you all science, spirituality come together and have proven to me what I already knew because I was taught it by God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, my mother, and people of my catechism and my upbringing. You're all my brothers and sisters, even though we're not all blood related, but basically you all have the opportunity to choose to be the inner child adult of you. With a good therapist, everybody can get back on board with it, and with the ones who don't want to because they are more comfortable in a protection mode, as Deb Dana and Stephen Porges point out, well, they're not going to want to be around us because our positive experiences and our ventral vagal energy is off-putting because they get triggered and they don't go and tend to their inner child with a person like Patrick Tiahan to reparent themselves and get earned secure attachment. So personality disorders don't go to people like Dr. Daniel Fox or Bezel van der Kolk or Stephen Porges, or well, he's doing research, so he doesn't count, but he's the polyvagal theory doctor that is continuing to build quantitative data. Dr. Daniel Siegel, I should mention. So there's a bunch of them out there, though. I learned from a bunch of smart human beings. I'm the pseudoscience lady, and I am a mystic. We're woo-woo because we respect sciences, but not because of us not having an active connection and relationship with that which is God, Source, Universe, Akash, the heart of sky, Anima Mundi, all of it. You bring it all in, and we're okay with those human beings in the 4D plane who just, leave alone, insecurely attached men, women, and days. They don't maximize their psychic gifts, which are also spiritual gifts, which are also explainable by sciences, because they don't maximize their spiritual awakening or their spiritual process. They actively have a very bad experience with decentralization of the self. They tend to switch a flip or just get egoic to the point of where they say, my content is why you can access your higher codes. Wow, okay. So spiritual egos, bypassers, and those who play God and or play that they have power somehow they're disempowered and distorted feminines. And you know that because they're Elsa on a journey, show yourself, where they have superheroes, supervillains, and apparently they're a superhero who is saving. And there's your savior complex, which is really they're still playing out their own childhood. And the ones who follow Peter Pan's are all lost boys. So we know why 7 and 14 Charming keep getting followed, because distorted feminines capture the disappointing masculines. And an empowered feminine, again, we're not into any of masculines or distorted feminines because we're healthy self-worth, self-soothing, self-empowering, self-regulating in our ventral energy. That means in our connection, that means in our body's safety of being our securely inner child adult. So we don't do hypervigilance, which is why we're not in any kind of let me be spiteful, vengeful. No, we have integrity. That's why we love with integrity. It's why you can't break us. And that's why Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, thank you for coming with me on this journey. And I'm very sad that I'm not welcomed by all because I am a Reiki practitioner, Akashic record reader, and tarot oracle card reader. But remember, please, the lover is what we all can be, and everybody can be their own siren. And that's not because we want to do let's bring in the mythological creeds. No, but every human being can be their own siren. And they're going to tune in to the voices of their other sirens. and we leave it alone, because if they follow the laws, we got flat earthers around, okay? So trying to spell it out to the best of the ability. Nobody is needing to be afraid of any kind of spiritual war, this war, that war. The people who are talking about things like that, they're really creating a lot of, in my personal opinion, fear. But I understand that 3D, 4D aren't going to go anywhere, because the minute they see someone like me, again, they're like, we need to prove spirituality, and those new age people, they're all Luciferians, and that's how they insult. Keep on using Lucifer, and then they say neuroscience. It's not true. Everybody has something they need to believe in. You're like, what? They just prove how your brain is working, and they're actively helping people to heal. Like, for real, they're all over the place healing. Okay, you don't want to believe in it? I mean, really, flat earthers again. Okay, so we're all lovers here. Okay, so there you go. That was a gist to where, if you are here, it's because we together get to keep protecting our lovely future by staying grounded in reality, and knowing that transmuting pain is not the way the Zen master does it with laundry. He doesn't know how to use mindfulness or mindsight or mindset. In his focused attention, when he has awareness and his laundry comes up, he apparently doesn't have the kind intention so that he can say, hey, let me go do something that makes my heart and my soul and my whatever happy. So who of my herd, okay, self-soothing in a healthy way, self-regulating with people who I can hug, allowing my whole self to give my 1-year-old a hug, and then allowing me to become comfortable with my secondary human consciousness. I think that I am, therefore I'm aware that I am. I know I'll die. It's not a complex condition for those of us who do inner growth mindset, mindfulness mindset on a go. Okay, so you don't have a body, mind, spirit, soul, or self. If you don't want to use the soul spirit thing, that builds any toxic, and we don't need repair, because when you are internally securely attached, as Pat Ogden presents, you will have the capacity to do this. And I read it to you in the other one, but I'm going to read it. This is going to be one of our recurring ones, because that way you can understand what I am and what you are going to be or could be. This is where you know you. A non-traumatized person with a secure attachment has the capacity to regulate independently of relationships. Pat Ogden, PhD. This is because your nervous system, the Zen master doesn't know how to do this. He calls it laundry. It's because he's using his temporal junction. So he doesn't physiologically enter a state of compassion. He doesn't physiologically use his prefrontal, and he doesn't physiologically allow two sides of the brain to work together. So he's not repairing anything. He's simply calling his emotions laundry. And then we have Robert Sapolsky, who says we have no free will. So, I'm going to beg to differ and say, if he brought in curiosity when he's emotional, and then did the healthy thing of having a hangout and not being weighed down by emotions, allowing himself to use neutrality and duality, meaning all emotions are emotions. Sadness, anger, okay? So when you have a healthy relationship with the depths of your emotional plane, mental plane, inner growth mindset, and then with your body, you're continuing to be curious. Here's Krishna, Leela, Shiva, and Kali. So you get to be expanding consciousness and have a good time with your psychic. I don't like to use the word gifts, but the psychic stuff, the intuitive stuff, the spiritual stuff, the flow stuff. Neuroscientists talk about flow stuff. So, and that's only because people use gifts as if we only have them. That's all. But obviously they can be considered gifts, but every human being has the capacity to have a relationship with God, source, universe. That's your birthright. To be your restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, regulating, bilaterally, vertically, overall integrated brain. To be your own whole self and be safe haven, secure base, and go out into the world, and with integrity and with your securely attached body, be able to support that ventral energy, and for others to be able to connect versus protect. So the group of people who will stay comfortable in protection, they're going to hang out with each other. They don't like the compassionate ones of us. And they don't like to use compassion. In fact, they don't even like the idea of us being consistently in compassion, because it triggers what is their 0-8-year-old and what is a very maladaptive pattern of behavior between drinking, drugging, fucking, and doing things that are unhealthy, self-worth and self-soothing stuff, to using narratives and their imagination in rumination, like the Zen Master too. So that's the biochemistry of fear, but they also get addicted to this. In the avoidant, we read about this yesterday, the fantasy stage. And then they have this thing of reward. So it has to be with their willpower to go and work on those maladaptive patterns of behaviors like Dr. Daniel Fox will present, and to make adaptive strategies come in, and then have healthy self-worth, self-soothing, self-regulating human beings who will say, okay, today I drank a little too much. Hey, you know what? That tone of yours, what's going on? Hey, I think you're having some pressure. So it seems like you're falling back. Do we need to do anything? Is there anything we can do to help? So people who keep each other on track, they do it by trying to see what works. And empowered feminines, again, that's why we know no one is divinely guided to anyone. You're only going to be with other human beings who are empowered feminines, meaning they're whole. So let's read. The 5D collective of mystics and mindfully, spiritually living and loving people have wholeness. So for this reason, we have no longing for love, which is what those other attachment categories have. And that's because the type of longing they have stems from insecurely attached, paused self, mystics, and people who need to reparent their inner child. They don't have to, but they need to. And to pursue earned secure attachment with a good therapist, like Patrick Chiahan, EMDR, Child Parts Work, Somatics, or Indoor Sensory Motor, okay? So once they learn to love themselves first with Patrick Chiahan, now we got a true lover. Now we got a person who has integrity. Now we have a person who knows how to continue what we're already doing. Self-help, personal development, personal growth, spiritual growth, and we all come and have a good time together here at HP. Since personal and spiritual growth are part of the 5D mystic and mindfully living and loving person's journey in life and relationships, we know how to have honest, open-hearted, and spontaneous, very fun, important conversations, and just have also good time conversations. And that's in all of our relationships, okay? So we're able to strengthen our relationships throughout the years, both romantically and not, which is why as mystics we don't lose people when we're going through our light body expansion, rainbow body, all this stuff. Okay, so we love in a state of secure attachment with healthy self-soothing and regulating skills that keep us anchored in ventral, and we enjoy being in our body's state of safety with connection and not protection. This is also why we know intimacy and passion, and we grow consistently this intimacy and passion within ourselves and with relationships. So you and I add to each other's lives. We're able to speak our truth as functional inner child adults. We don't lie, hide, or use passive-aggressive and low self-esteem, adaptive child patterns of behavior, and conversation styles or modalities. And when we do meet that, we know how to recalibrate them, and that's in the absence of shaming, blaming, faulting, revenging, or getting into a reactive, protective stance. We are pachas that handle with our ventral energy because we're securely attached for real, not pretend. That's why you don't break a soul. You don't break that promise. Don't worry, Jesus, God, I love, I forgive, okay? So for me, it's a promise that I made. I'm happy to be able to also tell you with sciences now I know how to logically say, hey, thanks, Stephen Porges. I already knew about the promise I made before. Now I know that biologically rude people, when they're in that state, they don't even hear me. And my facade friend confirmed that to me. And so did a lot of other people who don't know who I am at all because, again, they just talk over you. And that's facade people. But it's okay because at least we know what masks we're wearing and we love them just the same. So we accept, love each other just the way we are, and they don't have to get to know who we really are because our soul and our whole self is going to be seen, soothed, safe, and secure with ourselves and then with those who mindfully live in love and are empowered feminines like us. Okay, so that's where it's all good because we have plenty of room in the playground. So we have self-love, which is why we don't use this passive-aggressive, low self-esteem, adaptive child pattern of behavior and conversation styles or modalities. We have compassion and integrity, and so we are able to speak our truths with no shame, blame, fault, revenge, anger, resentment, or spite. The 5D collective of mystics and mindfully living and loving people are inner child adults. We are empowered to be our whole self, which is where that wholeness comes in. And you have your soul self, narrative, core, and relational self. And you get to share with others in a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. And so we don't hide who we are or what we're all about. And that is really fun with empowered masculines, okay? That's like, So, FYI, we don't live a life from a hyper-vigilant or vigilance state, however that's written, or have comfort in protection. So our body's threat response. We don't want to be in the unnecessary sympathetic or dorsal vagal. Through our daily inner growth mindset, mindfulness, and mindset practices, processes, skills, and thoughts, we're able to live anchored in our ventral energy and restorative embodiment. We live in love as healthy, self-worth, and empowered inner child adults who build genuine relationships, even with our facade friends. Furthermore, inner secure attachment allows for self-awareness, accountability, and regulation to consistently have us experience inner stillness, raise our frequency, and stay grounded as we expand when decentralization of the self takes place with life and relationships, bringing about the unknowns, unexpecteds, and unwanteds that are always possibilities due to tomorrow or the next minute being uncertain. So we know how to work with our human secondary consciousness, unlike the Zen master. Okay, so he doesn't know how to do it. He suffers life. There are human suffering love narrative people, and we are instead the human love narrative because we know how to live and love mindfully, spiritually as ourselves. And so this type of life is full of surprises, expansion, and good stress. And we are consistently anchored in ventral energy and navigating life from the 5D frequency of unconditional love, Christ consciousness, and that's Avatar Oneness consciousness, and it's an integrated brain, as Dr. Daniel Siegel has informed me of what all of integrated brain looks like and is like, and I know it from the back of my own body, hand, and it's our body's state of safety. I am able to consistently sit with you all day long because I'm not afraid of connecting with a human being, and I'm not afraid of showing you all of who my quirky self is, because that's where all my child parts are tended to by me, my higher self. So your higher self is where you're at. If you're going to be maximizing everything of the ascension energies in general, actually achieving spiritual mastery, and that's with your clairs and with the expansion that can take place, higher emotional, mental, and physical intelligence, because you have all the integration stuff going on. And for practical video exercises that will roll out throughout the year, once we get to a certain number, provide you with inner growth mindset, mindfulness mindset, and again, more practice of skills so that you can use this to grow confidence, continue growing confidence, and handle change with good stress. Go and subscribe to our paid subscription-based model content on Fanbase. Again, there's no content yet, but the model. Also Spotify, YouTube when it's out, but obviously subscribe so you can stay tuned and posted on that stuff. And please, again, just keep in mind, let's share love. It's going to be fun. We're going to have some channel guidance in a little bit and food for thought since our energies are still about. If you stop back, thank you so much. And it's a joy to have you join our community of people who enjoy personal development, self-help, spiritual and or mindful living and loving. Okay, so together we share that which is an unconditionally loving life with flaws, imperfections, and integrity. Some of you come with God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. Some of you come with yoga and that background alone. Spirituality, Sadhguru is what I use as my go-to for that. Others, you are simply aware of mindfulness and how it benefits you intellectually, emotionally, and physically. So you love personal growth and personal development overall. Oh, and for one-to-one mentorship, you email me to inquire about that. There's a limited spot, and it's going to be a minimum of 6 months that I would ask for your commitment due to you wanting to commit to something important. And for our masterclass and future workshops and or retreats, you want to write me if you want to be on top of the list, prioritized for each. They're different, but you just, in the subject matter of the email, write me, and I'll keep reminding you of this stuff. Again, also, if you know anybody who wants to join a bunch of lovely lovers, come have them, obviously we're not all lovers together, but you know what I mean, being ourselves truly and having a good time and sharing very, very empowering conversations, because we don't take offense and we care about our human herd. So we like to chit chat. And again, number one is having the bilateral vertical overall integration, because that's when we're going to know we have people who are on the high emotional, mental, and physical intelligence scale and capable of handling conversations versus interrupting us. Excuse me, you're confusing shit. So that slows us down. Empowered feminines are also empowered masculines. We do not need the distorted feminine with their masculines who have low self-esteem, passive-aggressive, unhealthy mannerisms, and they're not in we want to grow together. They will have manners that don't allow us to bring forth the novelty and the creative expression that our adolescent essence has. And the reason we have our adolescent essence is because our whole 3-year-old heart and our teenager didn't get lost, and our teenager is not ruling us. So we build, again, the real genuine relationships. And in fact, youth is not about age. Thank you, Sadhguru. It means you do not settle. Always learning, always growing, always a new possibility, which is also why you add mindset, mindfulness, and mind site practices, because that's the whole point. You continue to expand even when you have self-mastery and or spiritual mastery. You're going to continue to enjoy your clairs and expansion. It's amazing. So we'll be back again with more again. Thanks for stopping by.